Welcome to
the Plant-Based Podcast.
In case you didn't know already, plants are amazing. You can
Eat them,
wear them,
drink them,
nourish your skin with them,
grow them,
love them,
and be inspired by them. So why not join us on the Plant-Based Podcast as we speak to the movers, shakers, and growers in this amazing plant world.
This episode of the Plant-Based Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Natural Grower. Launched in 2019, their award-winning liquid fertiliser and soil conditioner is made entirely from maize. Visit naturalgrower.co.uk to nurture your soil and boost your plants and veg. Enter PBP15 for a 15% discount as a PBP subscriber.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, God. We've put together a special episode with jokes and funny stories, but this is the point where we've just realised we're actually not that funny.
We don't really
when we
know
try
any.
and tell a joke, it's
We
really
don't even get any jokes. So your aloe was meant to be a plant, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I've got I don't know, it's really hard when you're trying to be funny because I've got all of these puns written down on paper, so they might come in from time to time. Oh, time to time, there you go.
That's one. See?
Ding dong.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you don't even have to think about the joke.
No.
The joke is just natural. But hang on a minute, because I've just got to get up. It's a bit chilly in here. I need to turn up the heat.
That's a good one. Wow, you parsley the test of being able to tell good jokes.
You need to get better at this. Sometimes.
Anyway, Ellen,
yeah.
let's begin, right, okay?
Let's begin.
No, let us begin. So do you have any funny stories? Because it must be hard not being a funny person naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really an unfunny person, that is for sure. So should we just explain what the podcast is all about, do you think, before we launch into any more of our ridiculous jokes?
Oh, yeah, well, you can do that.
Oh, thanks. The podcast is so we can all have a little bit of a gardening giggle, you know? So
Yeah.
we've got our own gardening jokes and puns, which will probably fail miserably. And we've got all of our listeners' gardening jokes. So some of them are absolutely brilliant, and there's a few stories in there as well. So, and also on today's podcast, in the gossip section, we have got the master of jokes, Skinny Jean Gardner Lee, as well. So we've got a fun podcast ahead for the next, 40 minutes or so.
Oh. Do you have any funny gardening story then, Ellen?
The thing is, I don't think I have any stories, and we were saying this before. I sometimes, most likely, if there was anything funny that's ever happened, I've probably forgotten about it. But also, I don't think anything really that funny happens.
I guess funny slapstick could happen in the garden a lot, like when you stand on a rake and it hits you in the face.
Yeah.
Or like when you cut through the electricity cord with a lawnmower. Maybe that's not as funny though.
I was going to say that wouldn't be
not if you,
particularly
die.
funny. But we've done an episode about gardening stories and confessions, and actually some of those were really funny as well. So it kind of stories cross over, don't they, with confessions as well? So.
But some of the funniest bits are not actually pure gardening for me. It's more sometimes with QVC, obviously with live TV, like you just talk and you don't even realise you're talking sometimes, and you can accidentally bring out something that could be construed as smutty. And of course, if it was normal conversation, you perhaps wouldn't notice it, but in that situation, you've got producers in your ear and they often then pick up on it and kind of like laughing. And I remember like one time we were talking about fuchsia blooms that were 6 inches, and that was probably one of the moments where I almost cracked up laughing on live TV. You really have to stifle it, and if you've got a good director, then they make sure the camera's not on you at that point, or that it is on you.
Or that it is, if that's the effect that they want. Yeah, I guess
all
you
a bit
do.
Scary.
Like, this isn't gardening related, but it's just talking about TV. It's the one thing that I really remember. I probably should never bring this up again. But many years ago on Mustard TV, we used to have Darren Eadie and Helen McDermott as the anchors of the show.
Where's this going?
They were really funny, and actually I thought they were really, really good. They'd done a great job, but they used to have banter between them like nothing else. And I'm talking about swearing and jokes and but brilliant. I mean, it was all really fun. And nobody realised that they didn't know they were being recorded. But one of them called the other one a very naughty word, like the naughtiest of naughty words, the C word. And the producer didn't edit it out because they didn't even realise, and it went live on like evening TV at 6 p.m, so it was before the watershed, and it went everywhere, it went wild. It was in like all the newspapers, it was online. And so live TV can sometimes be really bad. But anyway, back to gardening jokes.
Well, I guess a lot of this kind of crosses over with like rude botany and kind of all those plants that look rude and sound rude as well. Yeah. And there's obviously plenty of those around that get a giggle.
There certainly
and get
are.
people interested in plants, don't they?
On your naughty T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Or plants that smell funny. How often have people had one of these random dragon arums, the Dracunculus vulgaris? Often the birds, they spread it through their poop and they suddenly grow in your garden, and you kind of think that your drains are blocked, and then suddenly you've got this amazing kind of like haunting flower which actually smells of poo.
That's like
I'm
the
not sure
durian.
That's funny, but yeah.
Like the durian fruit that's not allowed on some public transport overseas because it smells so vile. But you know what? Lots of new people to gardening come along and they kind of say, I want to start gardening, but I just haven't bought any plants.
What?
Michael's literally quiet. Were you even listening to that? Because that joke has just completely been lost on you.
They want to start gardening, but they haven't because it's botany.
Yeah, they haven't bought any plants.
Oh, you always see this board in the spring, don't you? Like, I wet my plants or wet my pants.
I'm so excited I wet my plants.
But some of those only work in American language because of the pronunciation.
Okay, very good. Okay, so what jokes have you got then? Let's have a giggle with what you've got.
Oh, I don't know if I got any jokes. I'm not very funny.
We can always rely on you for a smutty pun, though.
All I can do is weird, smutty puns at inappropriate moments. I can use the word time a few times. I can say that's a bit mulch. I can obviously say parsley the test. Let us begin, dig in, turn up the beat.
Turn up the beat, yeah, whoop, whoop, I like that. Well, you know what, I've been really busy down here allotment recently, so I started to plant my herbs in alphabetical order.
Really?
And so someone asked me how I find the thyme, and I just told them it's next to the sage.
Oh, I think you stole that from a follower.
No, I don't think I did.
Someone put it on one of mine. I think we'll get to that as we read through.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, no, you'll be in trouble there.
Oh,
Ellen.
I will be, won't I? What's a gardener's favourite type of trousers? Ones with turnips.
I know there's Doug and what is it? Doug and Undug. No, Doug and Douglas.
I love the fact that you can't even tell a joke.
Can't even tell the joke.
That's
right.
Brilliant.
Oh,
It's just the best thing ever. Why can't the flower ride his bike?
I don't know.
Because he lost his petals.
Okay.
Okay. Why didn't anyone laugh at the gardener's jokes?
I don't know.
Because they were too corny.
Oh, God, honestly.
What kind
Are we
of flower?
ready to dig into our followers' jokes yet?
Hang on. I've got more.
Oh, no.
What kind of flower looks like it just came back from a fight?
I don't know.
Black-eyed Susan. What
You're
do
so
trees
cheesy.
drink? What do trees drink? Root beer.
Oh. This is why I'm bad at crosswords.
What's the easiest way to stop a dog from digging in your garden? You take away his shovel. Okay, I'm done it.
Oh my God.
I'm done.
This episode of the Plant-Based Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Natural Grower. Visit naturalgrower.co.uk to nurture your soil and boost your plants and veg.
Oh, well, let's go through some of the follower comments, jokes, funny stories. You ready for that, Ellen?
I'm very ready for that because I'm hoping that they're way better than mine.
Well, I'll kick off here with Andy Godley on Twitter. If I think I'm brilliant at growing daffodils, does that make me a narcissist?
If you like.
Good one.
Another one from Andy Godley. I always wave at my sambucus every day. My parents told me to respect my elders.
Andy Godley again. What funny boy. I can tell you one last joke. It's about tiny onions, but that's shallot. That's cool.
Very good. Mark Lyons. It's never a good idea to expect that anything you say in the garden will remain a secret. The corn has ears and the potatoes have eyes, and you'll be shocked if you touch the currant.
Oh, I think our industry is the best for not just funniness, but smuttiness as well. And these next comments kind of tie into that. This is another kind of batch of rude botany, really. So Joseph Nature Lover on Instagram says, another name that made us giggle was Cockburnianus. You know this Rubus Cockburnianus?
Yeah, you've got your T-shirt with that on.
I know. And then he came back with, me and my mate found it funny that our teacher at Hawke College was called Jim, so we used to take the piss and call him Gymnosperms.
Why wouldn't you?
And then one more, I used to ask Jim what the Latin name for Judas tree, Circus siliquastrum, is, so I can hear him say silly question.
Silly question. Maybe he had an accent.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy Godley, he was absolutely rolling in the jokes. Unfortunately, my horticultural joke book has been stolen. I've hired 2 private detectives to get it back, Inspector Gorse and Miss Maple.
Oh, that's cool. I've got Kenny Higgs, and we know this guy in real life as well, and he's really funny, isn't he?
He is.
Very
He's
witty.
ace.
My boss asked me to scatter some tropiolum seeds, but I don't like to cast nasturtiums.
Hashtag one pun, he finished that with. Jam the garden man. I stood in my garden early yesterday morning wondering where the sun had gone. Then it dawned on me. Boom, boom.
Okay, there's a couple in the followers' comments that are a bit racy, so we need to do a warning that if you've got tender ears or you're easily offended, then close your ears for 15 seconds. Just put that 15 seconds forward button on Apple Podcasts.
And also, I'm going to let Michael read them, not me.
Oh, yeah, gosh, you're such a girl. So Hugo a Go on Twitter. Actually, he replied to you, so this should have been yours. What's the difference between tulips and daffodils? I'd rather have tulips around my than daffodils.
Even you didn't say the word. Brilliant. Naughty. Happy Mum. Hey, Happy Mum. How do you fix a broken tomato? With tomato paste. I actually have pictures of her trying to fix up her tomatoes.
Really?
No, in my head, not from here.
Well, she came back with, what do you call a bee that can't make up its mind? A maybe.
Yay! I really love those kind of fun, innocent jokes. They're the best.
This next one's a bit rude, but I think you'll be all right, Ellen.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The one after is worse.
Okay. So Jam the garden man, I can handle this one. Jam says, are we allowed dirty jokes? Because me and the hoe get dirty on a daily basis. Ooh,
So next one, this is parental advisory, explicit lyrics, la la la, that sort of that sort of sticker on your CD. So this is from Greg Burke, and he's actually star of our podcast in a couple of weeks, or maybe next week, with the carnivorous plants, isn't he?
Next week.
Really great guy. He's based down in Australia. He sent in a joke by direct message on Twitter. So it is a little bit rude, so, close your ears. Okay. What's better than eating a mandarin?
I don't know.
Eating Amanda out.
I'm assuming that he means taking Amanda out to eat, for dinner.
Yes, dear.
Oh, okay. Anyway, what's this one? Mandy Watson. Okay, good morning. I'd love to contribute, but I have a face for radio and a voice for newspapers. My only clean gardening joke is...
that was the punchline.
my only clean gardening joke is, what's brown and sticky?
Oh.
A stick! To be honest, I really kind of love that.
So, Hope Danvers on Facebook. I used to be a terrified gardener, then I grew a pair.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, Lisa MG. I'm not very good at plant jokes. This'll have to do. Well, it's done a very good job, Lisa. I like it a lot.
Amanda Jane Davis also on Facebook. What did George Michael's lawn say to him? Rake me up before you mow.
Rake me up before you mow. Valerie Moran. What do you call an Englishman with a spade in his head? Doug. What do you call a man without a spade on his head? Douglas.
This is the one I was trying to recount earlier, wasn't it?
What do you call a man with a leaf on his head? Russell.
That's cute. This next one it came in on our funny posts, but it's almost like it's almost half a tragic story, but I'm going to read it out anyway. It's from Phil Haselton, and in 2007 he accidentally spilt some fertiliser before mixing it up to transfer it into a larger bottle. He sprayed some on his strawberry plants and then came in to make a sandwich on the same workplace, and then was ill for 26 days.
Oh my God.
But he obviously sees the lighter side of it because he included it on our request for funny stories.
It basically on the sandwich soaked
so it proves you have to be
bread.
careful. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he saw the doctor, he had the doctor out on 12 occasions, lost 2 stone and 6 pounds in weight. That is a story to remember,
We need to do a podcast of when things go wrong, perhaps.
Yeah.
Gardening failures podcast. That would be a good one.
Failures, that would be very good. Phil, I hope you have recovered and are feeling much better now. Yeah. Oh gosh. So this is Anna Davis. She says, when my sons were 6 and 7, we had Father Michael, a Catholic priest, attending a home visit. As we needed to speak with him, I sent the 2 boys to say goodnight and go upstairs to bed. Minutes later, down they came, and the youngest said in a loud voice, "What's an orgasm, Mum?" Before I could turn all the colours of the rainbow, my 7-year-old said it's when you grow vegetables without fertiliser. He obviously meant organic.
Oh, bless.
Brilliant. Kids, best jokes, hey?
Where are we now? Suzanne Collis on Facebook. She used to work in the call centre at Thompson & Morgan, so she's got lots of different stories from her time there. And this particular one is, there's a customer on the phone that says, that they'd like some salad leaves seeds. So Suzanne said on the phone, "Oh, let us have a look."
I wonder if they even got that. Oh, sorry, I was reading the next bit. Graham Monk. I was seeing what else there was to say. I was in my garden earlier and my neighbour looked over the fence and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm putting all my plants in alphabetical order." And she said, "Really? I don't know how you find the time." And he said, "Oh, that's easy. It's right next to the sage." So there you go. There's the joke.
That's the one you stole.
I didn't see that one, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry to have taken your thunder, Graham Monk.
Okay, well, we've got just 2 more. The very last one is going to be quite fun for you to read out, Ellen, because it's quite a funny / tragic / disgusting story. But before then, we've got Andy Godley with his 4th joke, I believe. He's just had an idea for time travelling and plant hunting combined into one film, and that is Back to the Fuchsia.
Boom,
Boom,
boom.
boom.
So, okay, ending our listeners' jokes and funny stories is actually a story which does definitely cross over with our Confessions podcast. And in that podcast, I did admit that I have to sometimes go for a wee in the shed because I always get caught short. But this one takes it one step further. And an anonymous listener has sent us this story. Realised I needed the toilet. The urge got strong really quickly. Couldn't make it home in time. There's no toilets at the allotment. Had to go in the shed. Luckily, there's a potty in the shed for the kids. Ended up doing a big poop and then had to use a carrier bag to get it out of the potty and take it home to the bin. Oh!
But why didn't she bury it?
What do you do when you really need a poo in an English country garden? You pull down your pants and fertilise the ants in an English country garden.
I love that interlude came without any option. He didn't even introduce it. Good edit, Ellen. But I'm puzzled why she didn't just bury it on the allotment.
Well, because once she's
I
done
certainly
it...
wouldn't take it home in my carrier bag.
But where would you bury it? Like, I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know.
You bury it anywhere. No one's going to know, are they?
I guess.
I certainly wouldn't carry it home.
As long as it doesn't fertilise your plants.
I love the extra detail that this unidentified person's put. It's like, ended up doing the biggest poop of my life. It's like... But I've got a theory about that. They always look bigger on dry land, don't they?
Okay, that's so disgusting.
Oh, Ellen,
anyway,
who was it? Was it you? Was it you?
Pardon?
Was it you?
No, it's not me. I certainly wouldn't have written it out like that and gone into quite so much detail.
Was it Mary?
Yeah. Mary, the allotment neighbour, has anonymously sent us that. No, absolutely not. She would never do anything
wonderful.
like that.
Oh, thank you, Ellen. That's been great. I feel very light-hearted now.
You know what? We need a
Uplifted.
little bit of lightness in the world, don't we? So I hope everyone has enjoyed some of those very silly jokes.
And I'm on a very squeaky chair.
What kind of vegetable do you get if an elephant walks through your garden? You get a squash.
Hello, it's Alex, aka the Essex Allotment, and here's my gardening joke for you. You're all invited to my gardening party, so lettuce, turnip, the beat. Ha ha!
Why does Santa have 3 gardens? So he can ho ho ho.
Cool, okay, and we're going to move on now to our special guest this week, who is all-round gardening funny man, often seen in a glittery tuxedo, as it were.
Gold sequin jacket. Let's hope he's wearing that for us.
Yeah, let's see how funny he really is.
Hello!
Hey, are you alright?
Good, thanks. Look at Lee, looks like he's all in his professional parlour, you know?
Like a cartoon character. In a cute way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
Lee, I'm enjoying your hair far more now it's back to its original colour. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you're definitely allowed to say it. I had a complete breakdown, basically, so it's all back now.
Don't
You did it
worry.
yourself?
Huh?
You did it yourself, though, the blonde?
Yeah, you could definitely tell.
No, I don't know if that's the sort of thing you can do at home or not, is it?
Remember, the last time I did it was 3 years ago, and there's a picture of me and you, Michael, in a pub after I did it. A long time ago.
When I was...
You wore cooler clothes?
Say again?
Is that when you wore cooler clothes?
Yeah, that was in there, yeah. That was when
You two are ridiculous with your banter. When I was a kid, not a little kid, but when I was young, we always used to use toilet bleach to put like colour in our hair. So you just get like a bit of hair, and that would be blonde, and then a bit, and that would be blonde. So you had like these little, really randomly awful blonde streaks in really dark hair.
Oh, I'll try that in 3 years' time. I'll try that.
Next breakdown.
Are we recording yet? Because that would be really nice material.
I've recorded from the beginning. I've recorded from the beginning.
Oh, you are? All right,
Yeah.
we're already on then.
All right.
Hair chat.
And yeah, I mean, there's no reason why we can't talk hair on the podcast, is there? Why not? I mean, you two change your hair frequently, and everyone can see that, so why not?
Has anyone introduced Lee yet, then?
Oh, no, yeah. Hi, Lee. Skinny Jean Gardener.
I want this to look like a professional setup, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Skinny Jean Gardener in the gossip section for our podcast today. We haven't had you on the podcast yet. I'm so sorry, but we're so pleased you're here now.
It's really nice to do things for like you smaller podcasters. Do you know what I mean? It's really nice to come on and help you out.
I can understand that, Lee. I can fully understand that. Whilst I sit in my kitchen, Michael sits in his lounge, and Lee is sitting in his potting shed with all of the equipment.
Spending 10 minutes untangling this bloody lead.
Michael's distracted by untangling cables.
I'm not so modern that I'm cordless.
It's good to watch.
Good to watch him struggle. What does it say on your mug you're drinking out of there, Lee? You got your morning cup of tea.
Best dad in the world.
Best dad in the world. Do you know what, Lee? I absolutely, genuinely love your photographs of you and Olive in the garden. They are the cutest, watching her like really enjoy just being outside and stuff. So is Olive like your inspiration for your kids' gardening book and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, them photos on Instagram at the moment, they look like, generally me and Olive love spending time with each other out in the garden, but them actual photos was a really stressful couple of days.
Oh no!
We had to do all of the makes in the book over 2 days, which it was intense. So there you go.
And I guess you're trying to get a kid to act as well, which is
not any kid, Michael. That's the problem, though. Isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And she is a diva.
Really?
She was really good for the first day, and then by the second day, it was like when she wants a drink, you run and get her a drink in case she bails on you.
She's like the gardening Beyonce. Olive B. Oh, well, anyway, it's Ace. So how is the book doing, and how long has it been out for now?
We come out in February. How's it doing? Yeah, great. Amazing. So many millions of copies sold. I've just put a deposit down for the Ferrari from it, so it's fantastic. Yeah, great. No, it's going all right. It's not too bad. It's a bit of a weird one because I self-published, whacked it on Amazon. Don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because as soon as I launched it, the COVID come along, and then you feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mentioned the book a lot, but I didn't feel like I really wanted to sell.
Yeah, it was a weird time. There was the first few weeks, wasn't it, even?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, literally. We did Garden Press, didn't we? And then COVID come along, and that's exactly when I launched it. So it's a bit of a weird one. I don't want to keep pushing it in people's faces, but it's definitely useful. I've got 6 weeks holiday coming up, and
yeah, now would be a good time to push it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I'm really happy with it as a book, that I got all my ideas out there, and it's always going to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like the other day, Olive went to bed. Like, I mean, I always come back to Olive, don't I? But Olive went to bed, and the one book she read in bed was our book, and I thought, oh, that is so cute. Like, that's amazing.
You know what, Lee? If you never sold a copy, which obviously you have, but if you'd never sold a copy but Olive loved it, surely that's the key. Like, that would be everything, wouldn't it? She chose to take that book off the shelf and read it. And I'm gonna be controversial now. I don't know if this is or not really, but like, I think your book release was the perfect time, because all the parents are at home with their kids, and all of my friends and their kids were all like, oh my god, I can't handle this. Like, what do I do with the kids all day, every day? I'm trying to work, da 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 da. So actually, getting them outside in the garden and having some activities to do would be a great thing.
I love that Ellen thought that was controversial.
Well, like, it was controversial against what you two were being like. You two were being really good about COVID and, kind of very thoughtful. And I was like, whack it out there. I think it's perfect time.
It made sense because a lot of people needed to be entertained, really. Yeah. I bought a copy for my friends that had kids at home, homeschool stuff.
Yeah, that's one person that bought one. There you go. Thanks very much.
Olive and Michael Perry, that's all you need.
You're right, Ellen, though. Like, a bag of money or Olive in bed reading it, what would I rather?
Oh, cute.
We all know the real answer.
Yeah.
But how have you found everything? Like, you know, you were obviously in a sort of lockdown, as we all were, but how's it all been for you?
So, I won't lie to you, it's been, I proper had, like I said, the hair thing, I proper had a bit of a breakdown, to be honest with you. Like, not terrible, I'm over it now I've cut the hair. But I really struggled, like, I didn't realise how much, I'll tell you what I didn't realise, how much just bumping into Michael Perry on a showground somewhere and him having to rush off, but at least getting that 5 seconds with him. And then in them 5 seconds, him explaining how he has to see so many people and run off. I never realised how much that meant to me.
Hey, I know the feeling, Lee.
Just being able to do the things that you want to do and things that would be... I think it's been especially hard because we know that everything we miss, we have to wait another year for because of how our industry is. You know, for a lot of other people, they then, you know, if they were interested in football or horse racing, they could then do that 2 months down the line. But for us, we have to wait a whole year for these things.
Yeah.
It shows a bit of a vulnerability in our industry as well, that we can't adapt as quickly.
It's seasonal, isn't it? It has to be that way. You know,
I hear what you're saying. I think there could have been. I mean, all the shows are cancelled, but I feel like there could have been something that that could have happened. I mean, if we've got football happening,
something in real life by now.
Yeah.
Good point, actually.
Yeah, that's true. So I had an email yesterday from the Handmade Festival, which is in Battersea in September. And I've spoken there the last couple of years, and I'm on the list to speak again this year. And I thought that would just get cancelled, you know, and it hadn't been cancelled, and it was still going ahead. And I kept checking just to see, you know, if it was still happening and had anyone told me or not. And I got an email yesterday to say that it is still going ahead, but they've basically made it COVID safe. So it will be like all one way and, you know, hand stuff everywhere, and, you know, just they're doing it so that the actual show can still go ahead. But they've had more time to prepare for it. You know, this is in September, you know, obviously COVID hit, February, March. So I guess that now in horticulture, we have to think about if something like that happened again, you know, we need to be prepared well in advance. And because, like you said, I think things could still go ahead, but just in a different way, like a new norm, you know?
Well, I guess there's so many different elements. There's obviously growers, there's specialist plants, and all that stuff might have been affected and not actually grown, or, you know. But there's no shows at all this season, is there, then?
There's nothing.
In our intent.
No, and also RHS have cancelled a couple next year already as well, haven't they? They cancelled Chatsworth and Cardiff, I think.
Yeah. But I think that was probably they probably wanted to anyway, and that's a good way to do it, if you know what I mean.
Do you think they wanted to get rid of them?
Oh, potentially, if they weren't performing, then they've obviously had to look at their finances across the board, haven't they? So, but it was a shame because they initially pushed some into September, but they completely dropped off now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's really weird. I was writing my parts of my website at the start of the week for the shows next year, and I've actually had to put into it like my shows are going to be COVID secure, which is such a strange thing because there's so much, especially with what I do, is so much interaction with audience and getting them on stage. I'm actually having to think now, how is that going to work in 2021? Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird situation, but we have to adapt to it. You know, my stepdad said to me the other day, he said, well, you should have seen the ration packs we used to get in World War II. He's 80-something or another. He said, you know, we went from having this lovely, happy home life to having this tiny little ration pack. He said, you wouldn't believe what all we had to eat. He said, the thing is, you just have to deal with it. You just get on with it, and it's the new norm. You have to adapt and live life, you know. And I was like, well, okay, I'm happy that we've moved on to you have to adapt and live life rather than talking about ration packs. I'd rather not have ration packs. I haven't got some toilet bleach in so we can do our hair.
It kind of happens, and then it suddenly feels normal after a while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, like when you see someone like wearing a mask or a visor now, when you walk past a barber shop or shop, it now feels almost like, oh, it's been like that for a long time. You know, it feels more normalised in a weird way. Even though we'd rather it wasn't that way.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've not really been out that much. That's been my biggest problem, and I've been wearing a mask whenever I go anywhere. Yeah. Not walking down the streets, but like even just going to the supermarket. So I for me at the moment, I still get like really panicky, and especially like when we're recording this, like I'm really the only one in a shop wearing this mask, and it makes me feel stupid. Once it comes into everyone wearing them, I'll probably feel a bit more part of the crew. Yeah. But that doesn't help with like my anxiety of walking into places, because you feel like people like look at you and think, oh, he's going a bit over the top. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I interestingly yesterday went to a supermarket for the first time for absolute ages here in England, and I was gobsmacked that no one was wearing a mask, and I had a mask on. And as I walked in, this little kid kind of looked up at me, and she was kind of like following me as I walked, as if to say, oh my gosh, what's wrong with her, you know? And I was just like, well, actually, wear your damn mask, people. Wear your masks.
Yeah, but the funniest thing, me and Olive went for the first time shopping. She came with me because she'd already gone with my wife. So she came with me to hold my hand, and we thought in Tesco's that we saw Michael Perry in there. There was a man in a full-on, it's ain't actually a joke, a full-on gimp suit with a mask. He was totally covered up, PVC'd up, walking around Tesco doing his shopping. And Oliver was like, who's that? I was like, that is bad Spider-Man.
We could use this and dress up as all kinds of things to go shopping, really, couldn't we?
It would be easier if it is, you know, once it's a proper law, then it's clearer for everyone, and then the people that don't wear them are the ones that stand out, rather than people that do.
Yeah. I know things have kicked off in America big time, but the one thing I will say is where we were in a place called Mecklenburg County, everyone wore a mask. You had to wear a mask as you left your door. So it became really, really normal. So now when I've come back here and I've just put my mask on like normal, and I've walked out the door and it's like, oh, no one else has got a mask on, this is really weird. But I'm still not going to take it off. Because
I thought you were going to come back with a bit of an American twang, to be honest with you, and I'm a bit disappointed.
I'm really sorry about that, but actually I made it a goal to be even more British, especially because when you get served in shops, people give you more food. Like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from England. And they're like, oh, you from London? And then they'll give you more food, and they say like, keep talking, like, hi, and like, they just put more food in and stuff. And I'm probably even more British, but I do like using y'all now. Y'all's really cute. Yeah. How y'all doing?
You're British for food.
Anything.
You're British to get more food.
Anything for food. And one time we were waiting to get at like a salad bar, and my husband said, you know, he was asking the lady what to put on in the bowl. And she completely ignored me, and she looked at him and she said, I love your accent. Where are you from? And he was like, I'm from London, because it's easier just to say London than England. And she just said, I just love you. I just want you to keep talking. And so he was just like jibber jabbering away. And then when we went to pay, she said, is that your husband? And I was like, yeah. And she went, oh, I'm really sorry. She was probably flirting with him, and I think he was a little bit like a Hugh Grant, you know? Like he was just like bumbling away, like trying to find things to say. So he got more salad. Anyway, there you go. That's it.
I saw an exciting thing from Mr. Perry, that you're going away on your first work trip, Perry.
Yeah. I'm going to Holland on Monday on the night boat. Yeah, so because there's no kind of quarantine now either way. Obviously, places that you visit this time of year is kind of like flower trials outside, so this is naturally spaced out anyway. And I was just it'll be good to get back to some stuff that's vaguely normal, really.
Well, I was excited for you.
We all need to do stuff that's normal, and just to do it in a way that's more workable with the restrictions we have. You know, it's like we can't hide away and do nothing forever. That's just not practical. You know, even before now, I probably should have been on work trips doing that, because you just got to do it with a new normal, you know. And I think it's going to be, I was saying to Ellen last couple of days, I've been so like moody and like, it's just, you just need to get back to these normal things, you know. It's just, what about you though? Have you been like out and about yet, or to any meetings or anything that's vaguely normal?
Well, I'm very excited that I might be going to just pop into Ipswich to see someone. That's about as far as I'm going to go, mate, at the moment. I don't know. Nothing else is happening. Like, I've really... I've doubled down on like online stuff a lot more, which also is not good for the mental health if you go too far into that. But I've got no other stuff outside of Colchester, which I'm going to try. What I'm going to try is to go to some people's allotments and go and chat to some people that I know from our little social media group. Mm-hmm. And just do some podcasts and that, just to get out and about, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's nice chatting to people like through the world of the internet, innit? But just that face-to-face contact.
It's not as good as.
Yeah. It's not the same. You just don't have that like
it's
personal.
Never a substitute.
Yeah, it's just not. It's good to do it, but it isn't the same. So like, I think if you feel anxious about going out, then just take small steps. Just do one thing at a time, you know. And if that means you don't pack a load in 1 week, just do 1 or 2 things 1 week and then 1 or 2 things the next, and you just start to kind of find your groove again, you know?
That's it. I said to my wife the other day, I can't believe I've not left Colchester for like 4 months now. It's like, it feels so weird.
But then also it's easy to stay that way. Do you know what I mean? Once you're there and you've done it, you feel anxious because that's what you've done for so long. So then it makes it harder to get out and do things again. So
I feel I'm in a therapy group here. This is nice.
I'm very good at this. You're very welcome to my allotment as well, by the way. And also, I'll be in Ipswich next week.
Oh, well, we might pass each other.
Yeah, I've never really sampled the delights of Ipswich yet. I feel like I'm a traitor to Norwich going to Ipswich.
Yeah, I have such a difficult relationship with Ipswich. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I don't know if you always feel like that about your hometown. Like Ellen, Galston. How do you feel about Galston? You know? There you go. I don't know, because you've seen it, you've seen the best and worst of it, and just, I don't know, and I've realised that I'm quite addicted to different places and seeing different things and new stimulus, and it's excellent, but it's also quite dangerous because it's unsustainable.
Yeah, it has to. You have to settle it at some point, I guess. But interesting, you said about Galston. The weirdest thing, I dreamt about Galston last night. And you know when you wake up in the morning and you're sort of still half thinking about your dream, and it's almost like you're trying to end it whilst you're awake. Do you ever do that? You want to think about the ending to your dream, but while you're still awake. I dreamt that I was
not quite the same sort of dreams I'm having, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Oh my gosh, you're dreaming about plants, I'm sure.
But how do you feel about Colchester, though, Lee?
I love it.
You do?
I'm very, very proud of living in Colchester. I think. Let's be honest with you, I made my wife move here from London, so if I turned around and started saying it was rubbish, she'd be like, well, great, you made me move here like 6 years ago. So I've got to be proud of it. Like, I enjoy Colchester, do you know what I mean? Like, there's parts of Colchester that I still ain't even adventured to, and I've lived here my whole life. So...
Maybe now's the time. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I need to get past my snobbishness.
Like, during lockdown, like, there's it's called the Wick, which is basically a shooting ground for the army that they go on. So sometimes in the background of my podcast, you can hear shooting, and it's not because it's like going on down the street. It's like a shooting range. And but when it's open, it's like there's just so much to adventure. So during lockdown, we went for a walk over there. Never been for a walk in my life. We got lost in some woodland. But I was like, I've lived here my entire life and never even ventured here. Like, lockdown like made you find areas, I don't know about you guys, but maybe find areas that you never knew about around your area.
Yeah, I think I've not been here for most of lockdown, so yeah, I've seen somewhere else. But first of all, I just have to say Norwich is the best, I'm afraid. Norwich is ace. It's like the best place in the whole world. But I've seen loads and loads of people who live in and around Norwich and kind of up the coast, and they're like posting to Facebook, oh wow, we've just been for a bike ride around this field, never even knew it was here. Do you know what I mean? Or we've been to this beach, because we've got some gorgeous beaches, haven't we, all along the east coast of England. And they're like, we've been to the beach and we never even been to this beach before. And I love that, like people getting out and just seeing places locally. Like the whole staycation thing's going to have a big boom, isn't it, over the next few years, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think not necessarily of Ipswich, but I did realise, I really loved Suffolk over the last few weeks because, it's really pretty. There's some really nice places and stuff. Yeah, I think I've almost had more lockdown since I moved up to Suffolk than when I was down in Windsor because I haven't really ventured out of the house that much since I've been up here. I don't know. I don't even know why, but yeah.
Is it because you're too scared to go out in Ipswich on your own?
But maybe even to go for walks and stuff, because when I was in Windsor, I would go for a walk every day and kind of explore the area. But yeah, it just feels weird when you're kind of in your own zone, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think that's because Windsor's a little bit, do you just wave into your neighbour there?
No, my friend is coming in, but I'm very quiet. I'm not enjoying him.
Maybe it's because I feel like when you're like in this, like Windsor's quite populated, isn't it?
Yeah.
And where you are now, maybe it's a bit less populated. Maybe you feel more comfortable to venture around when there's more people about.
I don't know. I guess it was just exciting and different and somewhere I didn't know. And here would be kind of rediscovering, really. Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going to go for a walk on Galston Beach.
That's that.
Now you've said that, I'm literally going to go for a walk on Galston Beach. I haven't done that. I don't think I've been...
You're always telling me it's lovely.
Galston Beach is beautiful. It is one of the most lovely beaches, and I haven't been there for maybe 10 years or more. I don't even remember the last time I went there, but that's where I was brought up, dragged up. And yes, I might go for a walk along the beach. I feel old enough to deal with all the memories now. I might do it. There we go. Anyway, Lee, it's been really good chatting with you about not much to do with gardening, but it's been really nice catching up. And I hope you venture out soon, and meet people again, because it's so important for all of us to do that, isn't it,
Yeah, go to Ipswich.
Go to Ipswich.
I said I'm going to Ipswich. I didn't say I was going to get out of the car.
Yeah, true. That's why drive-thrus have become so exciting.
I tell you what. One thing I was. We did a 24-hour podcast recently, and we talked about I know you were trying to wrap up here, but we were talking about garden centres and designing our own garden centre. And one of the ideas was a drive-in garden centre in a multi-storey car park.
Yeah, that's ace. Yeah, I love that.
That's a pretty decent idea.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Garden centres could have done that through lockdown, couldn't they? Like maybe set up everything outside and just driven past.
Compost.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a pretty decent idea, but I don't understand why I didn't do it with more stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that could be like the plan. Should we ever have a lockdown, heaven forbid, again, for pretty much all shops? Surely, I know there were quite a few shops in America that did do that. I mean, everyone had masks on, and there was like screens and everything, but you could drive. It's like a drive-by, and they give you a bag of what you've ordered online or picked from the sign outside. Yeah, there was quite a few places that done that. Not garden centres though.
In Australia, they have drive-through bottle shops, don't they? Obviously, a drive-through off licence.
Brewdog are doing some, didn't they? Brewdog are starting their ones.
Really?
Yeah.
They're
changing.
Drive-through garden centres, that is the future.
Gene Gardener drive-through garden centre coming soon.
There you go. You heard it here first. Thank you, Lee. It's really nice to chat with you.
No worries.
This episode of the Plant-Based Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Natural Grower. Launched in 2019, their award-winning liquid fertiliser and soil conditioner is made entirely from maize. Naturally rich in nitrogen, potash, phosphate and other trace elements that plants and vegetables love. It is approved by the Soil Association, Vegan Society and Organic Farmers and Growers. Visit naturalgrower.co.uk to nurture your soil and boost your plants and veg. Enter PBP15 for a 15% discount as a PBP subscriber.
Thanks for listening. You should now be at least 25% more obsessed by plants.
Please follow us on social media. You'll find us by typing in the Plant-Based Podcast.
We also have a fabulous website. Go to theplantbasedpodcast.net.
So tell your friends, leave a review. Why not write a letter to your local MP? Please spread the word about the Plant-Based Podcast.
Oh, yes. See you next time, plant friends. The theme music for the Plant-Based Podcast is an excerpt from the song Grow by Mikey James, and our editing is done by Gareth Patch of Semi Echo.